I vlog. That's Leaf. That's Colin. I don't know if you can see me, but this Hunter.
In this lab, one of the key concepts explored was photometry, which is the human eye weighted application of radiometry. This is due to the human eye having different sensitivities to different wavelengths. To do this in the lab, we placed a photopic filter over one of our sensors to make the power response equivalent to human perception. The second concept we explored were light sources. We explored the emission profiles of different types of sources, including blackbody, line sources, and band sources. We also explored emission profiles of different sources. This is the angle dependence of the emission of light, with Lambertian sources emitting as cosine theta and isotropic sources having an even emission at all angles. Finally, we explored a couple different types of detectors, using 3 to measure the same light sources. This included a Thorlabs bare silicon and 2 Gentek sensors, a silicon and a pyroelectric radiometer.
Looking deeper into the contrast between photometry and radiometry, photometry is measured in lumens, whereas radiometry is measured in watts. The difference between these lie in the observer. Just measuring power in watts encompasses an entire spectrum, or a band of wavelengths. Lumens are more centered around human perception, as it's a power measurement with respect to 555 nanometers, which is the wavelength that human eyes are most receptive to. Thus, they fill two niches, with illuminance being better measure for something like room lighting for human perception, and radiometry being more useful for power ratings, especially those outside visible light. Regarding sources, each of them fulfill different areas of necessity. We looked at tungsten bulbs or compact fluorescent bulbs and multiple other sources. Using these different sources allows us different capabilities that we can call on when we need, whether to fully illuminate the room with all colors or to put on a light show with many different sources. The light sources with different capabilities help us to advance further in technology to lengths we never even thought of.
All right, now we're going to go over some of our more significant results from this lab. The first result that we're going to talk about is the fact that the different bulbs that we tested, being the tungsten, the LED, and the fluorescent bulb, all seem to be isotropic, meaning when we swept the detector around different angles, the power readings didn't seem to change at all. The second interesting result is an appearance of a second lobe in the LED spectrometer reading. At different positions, when we moved the spectrometer around the LED, we observed a second lobe centered roughly at around 1600 to 1650 nanometers. You can see that in the graph in the bottom right, with the original, or the graph that you would expect on the top in the bottom right. And lastly, we want to talk about the photopic filter. Basically working as expected. It significantly altered the responsivity of the photodiode, just really cutting out the red and emphasizing the green light. Okay, now on to the analysis of our results. The isotropy that we observed in the bulbs makes perfect sense. These are light bulbs meant to light up a room equally in all directions. Makes sense that when you take measurements from different directions, they don't really change much. The appearance of the second lobe from the LED spectrometer reading is a little bit more mysterious, but if you think about it, if we're using a diffractive grating in the spectrometer, the third diffracted order of 550 nanometers would appear like 1600 nanometers diffracting into the first order. So the detector may have thought that that's what's going on. So it's sort of like a ghost lobe. And lastly, the photopic filter efficiently transmitting green light makes perfect sense because human eyes are most finely attuned to like 550 nanometers of green. So the fact that the red light got filtered heavily makes perfect sense.
I really enjoyed working with the black body source and seeing the nice smooth spectrum.
I also enjoyed working with the black body source. I thought the glow that it gave out was really cool.
I also enjoyed the black body source. The heat was a lot like being next to a campfire.
I think the organization of the manual could have been better. There were a lot of times where we would fully put away equipment and then need it again later.
I wouldn't say this is a huge criticism, but the lab was a little bit basic. Yeah.
And I felt some of the instructions were a little unclear. Sometimes we didn't know what to do, but at the end we all got through and it was fun.
Thank you.